Well, let's get right to it. We started this week in full-time traditional. We were out on Monday, but everything got into full swing on Tuesday. A first for the entire school year, K through 12. How's the process gone this week based on feedback that you've gotten?
It's been smooth. It has been joyous, and that might not make sense to a lot of people. And one that, because of the preparation, the planning, and maybe over planning, that much was already anticipated. So it's been a good week. And keep in mind, K through 5's been at this since the end of October, so we learned a lot. And part of that being that, you know, all the protocols that we've had in place remain in place, and the only thing that really is the difference is the social distancing. But we again have got the pieces in place as far as the assigned seats, which some people might think, but you're talking about older kids, but it's making a difference as far as if we have to do the contact tracing, we have proximity. Same thing as far as looking at the cafeterias, but again, it's been smooth. And all you had to be was out in the parking lots at some of the schools on that first day and watch just the behavior of seeing some of your friends that you haven't seen since last year, because we've been 50% on every other day with groups of students. And so it's been good. The teachers are tired, but again, they're having to shift as far as practice, and I can't say enough about them. They've just been tremendous. And it's not about being flexible. It's about how to adapt in times that no one could have anticipated and prepared for. And so it's been a good week.
Good to hear. And you mentioned a few moments ago about cafeterias, and that's something we can touch on as well. Regardless, it's not having to do with a bunch of illnesses with cafeteria workers. It is the fact that right now, because we are full go across the board, we are short cafeteria staff. So much so that central office staff, they have been gracious and willing to help out in any way. You're going to be scheduled to serve at some point soon. I know you're on the list. People who may not understand, or maybe they think, okay, maybe there's an opportunity there that they may know someone. Plain and simple, cafeteria workers, we would love to have some more of them apply right now. Isn't that correct?
There's two areas that are just so important for any school district. And right now I'm going to be very selfish. It's very important for Wilson County. Food services. Right now you're looking at breakfast and lunch being served, and there is no cost for any student till the end of the school year. No cost. And our students eat, and they eat well, because we have probably one of the finest food service departments, bar none. But what we've experienced, whether we want to blame it on COVID, whether we want to blame it on that, one thing that we've not seen has been a dip as far as everyone's vying for employees. We have a desperate need for food service employees to come in and assist, and some of it just to serve our kids as they go through the line. And as you noted, we have a lot of central office workers that are trying to plug in the gaps. One of our schools had 3 food service employees to serve the entire school.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to fill in the gaps. I'm one of them as well, and doing what we can. But we are pleading that if that's something that you would like to join us and be part of our school family, we would welcome you. And it's also, particularly if you have children in school, I can't think of anything better. And the same thing with our bus drivers. We have plenty of buses, but we need bus drivers. And so many of our parents are dependent on transportation, understandably so. And so both areas, we're competing with other businesses that are drawing the employees that we've had in place. And so we're running short. And if you can find it in your time and in your heart, we
or
would
know
really,
someone perhaps.
Yes, please have them join us, because I can't think of anything better than working with our kids.
Yeah, and if you have an interest in doing that, just simply contact our HR department, and they will direct you in the right place. So it's just as simple as that.
Yes.
We're going to keep it a little bit shorter today, but before we let you go, we cannot leave this conversation without talking about a very emotional, week upcoming, one that will be on the minds of many throughout Wilson County, particularly for some of our families at a few of our schools. It will mark the 1-year anniversary next week, March 3rd, of the devastating tornadoes of last year. And I'll just start simply saying it has been a year, a year that has been sometimes quickly and sometimes slowly. But we do want to certainly recognize the fact that we understand that there will be a lot of emotions next week.
Absolutely. And, you know, it seems like it's just been a brief period of time. But like you said, it's the year anniversary. And the day before, March the 3rd, was a beautiful, beautiful day. I mean, it's still vivid. Not only in my memory.
We had a school board meeting that night.
We had a school board meeting that night. We had a day of celebrating Read Across America and Dr. Seuss's birthday. Many of us, including you, were out in the schools. In fact, at Stoner Creek Elementary, celebrating and also, encouraging reading. Children were in costume. Teachers were dressed up as well. And little did we know that 12, 14 hours later, we would experience the tornado that would not only change the landscape, but change our world.
And I want to mention that coming up next Wednesday, throughout the day, please follow us on our social media, Facebook, Twitter. Many pieces will be dropped down that day, some digital specials that I'm going to have, and a lot of great content, some untold stories. I know that you've seen one of those already involving one of our teachers, and so we hope you join us for that. You mentioned as well, as we close things out, we have one more week, and then, snowstorm last week, spring break coming up very, very soon. We just urge families and students, let's finish strong before we hit that spring break.
Yeah, we have about 10.5 weeks after we come back from spring break, and that's the thing. It's not a race, but it's to finish strong, and if anything, capture that learning, but also we need to get back to just the joy of life and appreciation for each other, because it's been a tough year of art.
It has, and also very important to note next week, Friday will be an asynchronous day.
Yes.
We want to make sure that parents understand that students will not be in school that day. That is round 1 vaccination for our employees. So
and we're so excited about that.
Yes.
It's around March the 5th. Will be an asynchronous day. The reason why, because our faculty and many of our employees that are attached to schools will be getting that first dose of the vaccine, followed up on March the 26th, which will be a second asynchronous day, because we want to make sure that we can dedicate that time to our staff that if you can imagine being excited about a vaccine or a vaccination,
they're
ready.
Yeah.
And they have really been, is it time yet? Is it time yet? Well, it's time, and it's starting March the 5th.
We've talked a lot about that over these chats over the past. When's it coming? When's it coming? Well, it's here, and we're excited. Hey, Dr. Wright, thank you so much for the chat again today, and as always, we'll talk to you again very, very soon.
Stay well and stay dry.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.